What's up, guys? It's Eric with Photography SEO, and today I'm going to go ahead and cover some of the basics and fundamentals of SEO and how you can use it for your website to get more clients. So, here we are at Google, and basically, one of the key things that you have to look at with regard to SEO is that it's all about relevance. And what I mean by that is when you search for something like Nashville pizza. Let's take a look at that. So you see here, everything that comes up has to do with pizza. You have Nashville Pizza Company, Nashville Pizza Company again, Pizza Perfect, and then you've got all these things here that are about pizza. And the reason Google is bringing up these websites is because they are relevant to what I asked Google for. So when we look at this term Nashville pizza, what you're not seeing is Nashville hot dog or Nashville barber or anything like that. All you're finding is pizza. So one of the key things and fundamentals of SEO is getting your website to be relevant. So when you do something like Nashville wedding photographers, let's take this. The number one result here is most relevant to wedding photography. It's called Nashville Wedding Photographers. We also have Nashville Wedding Photographers, Ryan Photography, Lane Photography. We have the Knot, which they have a page about wedding photographers in Nashville, and so on. So Google sees these websites as being most relevant when people search for Nashville wedding photographers. This is important to know because your website depends on its relevance. But where it's placed in Google depends on its relevance. Um, let's take a look at a site on page 10 of Google. Um, Actually, let's go back even further. There's a ton of wedding photographers in Nashville. All right, so let's take Portrait Innovations, for example. This is just an example. I don't know anything about this company or who they are. But the first thing that I notice here is in the blue part right here, it doesn't really say anything about wedding photography. And then in the website address, it doesn't say anything about wedding photography. And I can't really see anything about wedding photography here in this description area either. As soon as we go in, so it looks like, I don't know, it looks like some kind of store. Um, Definitely not a wedding photographer. And that's why Google has it, all the way back on page 12 or whatever I clicked there. What was that? Page 13. So Google doesn't really see it as being relevant to wedding photography. The guys on page 1 are really relevant to wedding photography. Let's go ahead and take a look at somebody on page 1. Here, I'll just redo this search again. And let's see what some of these guys have that makes them so relevant. So these guys here, you have Nashville wedding photographers in the blue. We have wedding photography here in the website address. And let's see if there's anything in the description here. I don't see, okay, it says weddings here. It says Nashville here. So you kind of get the idea they're pretty relevant as far as that goes at first glance. Now, if we look at the page, we have wedding photography here. We have weddings here, engagements, which is, Google will look at that and they'll consider that it's somewhat similar to weddings or has something to do with that subject. We have wedding photographers here. Let's see. Photograph weddings. There's just variations of the phrase wedding photography, wedding photographers, wedding photography here, and so on. So if I do, let's just do a search real quick, wedding You can see recent wedding stories. Alex's wedding, their wedding, their wedding, wedding day, and so on. And wedding is just all throughout the content of this website. It's no wonder Google finds them to be so relevant. Everything you see here is about wedding photography. So that's just one of the key factors that's looked at when you're doing SEO and when you're trying to be at the top of Google and gain that traffic. I use a tool on my browser to show me about how many people are searching every month for that phrase, and you can see there's about 1,000 people. To be here or to be here means a lot. It means that you're getting a lot of people to your website, and you're able to get a ton more clients as a result. So long as your work is good and people think that it's quality, um, and your site converts well. With that being said, this is just some of the very basic stuff that you need to consider when doing your website is what kind of clients you want, and then make your website about that. If you do a lot of different areas, you should have different pages for those different areas rather than everything being jumbled up on the homepage. Um, and I'm going to give you one more example of what I just said here. Let's take a look at uh, let's just see if these guys might do more than just wedding photography. So, wedding resources packages, galleries, wedding engagement. Okay, so these guys are mostly just about weddings. Um, all right, let's see this Sarah. So, okay, good. So these people have weddings and families on their website. And you can see there's actually a separate page here for family photography and one for weddings. Um, this is important if you do different types of photography, that you keep things kind of segmented out in different pages. If you have everything on one page, it kind of looks like it's a little messy as far as Google can tell, because they're not sure if you're really relevant as regard to wedding photography, or if you do more family stuff or maternity or headshots or whatever. It's kind of a jumble of everything, and so they end up putting you on page 2 or 3 of Google because you're not the most relevant as far as wedding photography is concerned. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and check out the website for regular updates.